My name's Gary, and I manage an office and do all the marketing for that office. So obviously I have a lot to handle. I do marketing, I do client development. I have a lot of my plate. Paper was coming at me a mile a minute. Bills were coming at me a mile a minute. Now, as far as balancing the checkbook, I never really did that. I just kind of hoped that it would go away. When I started adding up the fees, from, let's say, a coffee purchase that was a $2 coffee purchase, and then with the added fee of the bank, it was $33. So that cup of coffee cost $35. And I started adding those up. It was shocking. I felt frustrated and inadequate to manage something that was so important. Didn't see a way out of it.
One of the things that can really stress people out and drag them down is finances, particularly if they're unaddressed and there are things that haven't been handled. A lot of times these financial problems are symptoms of a much deeper issue. What we can do when we feel compelled to spend or compelled to do things financially that don't work for us is to stop and take a look inside and see what is driving that compulsion. What is making us want to spend what we don't have? We were looking at the different areas of your life that you wanted to bring organization to, and we saw finances was the underpinning. That was the big mother load.
Absolutely. The way I balanced a checkbook was that I didn't balance a checkbook. I'd look online and I'd see the checks that were coming in and kind of like in my head say, oh, well, I have to make sure that this is covered. I have to make sure that this is covered. I was always worried that I was going to pick up the phone and hear, hey, your check bounced.
What was the toll that it was taking on you?
You know, I started resenting people. I started resenting my partner, just not happy.
So we started to bring clarity to the finances. Mm-hmm. And the first step was you being willing to do that.
Yes.
And that was a real hurdle at first. Why do you think that was?
I was afraid, I was scared of, like, if I really knew what was going on in reality, that there would be something really wrong and that I couldn't handle.
And it looked like this massive, insurmountable job.
I run a company, I run a household. It was a really daunting task.
That's something common that all of us want to do. When something seems like it's so out of control, we don't want to deal with it. But the moment that Gary decided to face the problem head on, a light appeared at the end of the tunnel for him. It came to a time when the stress of not handling your finances was bigger than the imagined stress of dealing with them.
Absolutely. It was all in my head, really. It was that fear of finding out what was real and what wasn't.
Sometimes it's so much easier to keep stepping over the things that don't work.
Yeah, just keep burying your head in the sand and work a little harder and it'll all get better.
What I find is that most of our financial issues are self-inflicted. Meaning, the good news is, since we caused them, we can also solve them.
Handling my finances seemed like a chore and a burden. And now what I've seen is that it's actually fun. I started getting connected with reality. Was this vendor paid? Was this vendor not paid? If they were paid, what check number was it? I have this sense of wellness and peace, and it all came from handling a foundation of my life that I didn't really know that needed to be handled. But after handling it, smooth sailing.